federal government, through the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, has set up plans to take care of over 13 million out-of-school children, including adults, as many Nigerians are willing to be educated. This has given room for the ministry to inaugurate alternate school program National Steering Committee in Nigeria to work on the plans. As experts says,
again, that is one of the problems that we will be solving. The school feeding program was designed to keep children in school by providing a meal a day for them. But before you can qualify to benefit from the homegrown school feeding program, you must have been in school. So that's the difference. So now the alternate school program is trying to get children who were not in school, who would not ordinarily have qualified for the school program, get them in school, and maybe, since it is also domesticated in the Ministry of Humanitarian, then the school feeding program can also be added to them. But the school feeding program has its own objective, which was to keep children in school, provide a better nutrition for children in school. But here we have 13.8 children are not in school. We need to bring them in school so that they also can enjoy the school feeding program. We brought about exclusion in the number of school-age children in Nigeria. And the evidence of that exclusion is 13.5 million children out of school. So if 13.5 million are out of school and we have a school system, that means that system needs to be rejigged. We need to rethink it and we need to work it out. And so alternative school system is planned to be able to bring about inclusiveness into the education space. Hoping that I will bring to the table my 15 years of experience working with out-of-school children in Lagos, in Zamfara, in Katsina, in Sokoto, in Abuja. We currently run a school where we have over 3,000 out-of-school children who are currently going to school now. And we would like to bring to the table the experience and how we have been able to capture such in this. And they are from 24 states of the country, by the way, our students. So I feel that this will be an opportunity for us to bring to the table and to scale up what we have been doing in our little corner for the good of all. So basically that's what I will be bringing to the conversation here. What I found out is that when we talk about education generally, there are about 3 costs that are associated with education. The cost of education, which is tuition. The cost of being in school, which is the uniform, the sandals and books. And then the third is the alternate cost of being in school, which is what would the child be doing if he or she were not in school. So now, the government, the education system, the regular school system only caters for one of these 3 costs, which is the tuition. So tuition is free all over. However, the tuition that is free has attracted about 60% of the children in school. But the other 2 costs has excluded the remaining 30% of the children, which represent about 13.5 million children. So what we have found out through research is that if we are able to also provide succor in these 2 areas, i.e. you are able to provide the community. So it has worked for us. It has worked in Zamfara, it has worked in Abuja, it has worked in Lagos. So I believe it will work everywhere.
Okay, so what about the Almajiri children? Are they inclusive? Or are they the main focus for this alternative school program?
I will not be able to say whether they're the main focus, but if we have about 6 million population, that's bigger than some countries' population, then we should focus on them. So the Almajiri should be the first, it's a critical point. I mean, the Northwest, not even the Northwest should be a critical point because we have a huge population out there who are out of school. And many of them are out of school because of the third reason I said, which is the alternate. What would they have been doing were they not in school? So we will be bringing to the table how do we make them, if they desire to still be an Islamic scholar, how can they be an Islamic scholar and still be literate and still be learning? How can they be, for instance, in Southwest, in where we first work in the Bejuleki local government, how can they be a farmer, a fish farmer, and still be in school? So we tweaked the education system in such a way that a child can go to farm, can go to the fishing, because we fish very early in the morning and in the night. How if a child can go to fish in the morning and still come back to school? So all these considerations were not in the regular school, because the regular school runs 8 to 1. And then in the Jakonde era, they had evening school. But we are looking at a situation where we will be able to take the child and look at what is the expectation of the parents for the child, what is the talent of the child, and bring all this to bear in designing a unique school for every child. So it's going to be not that one child, one school, but you design the curriculum in such a way that everyone will find and will fit into the curriculum and will find a place to succor inside. So that's basically what alternative school is all about. Sir, it's all over the world, by the way.
Sir, you are talking about children now. Certain group of people have already passed the age of children.
Oh, no. When you talk about, I'm sorry I had to cut in. When we talk about children, I'm not talking about children, I'm talking about anybody that has not gone to school. In our school, I hope you come to the school. In our school, we have 18 years in primary one. We have 18 years in primary one. The Nigerians love to go to school. I want to tell you, I've been in Zamfara. I've engaged the Almanjiri. Nigerians love to go to school. Everybody aspires to go to school. But this other two costs has been holding them down. And if anybody, like we did, and if now the government wants to do, can ameliorate these constraints, they will come into the school. So I'm hoping that this is the game changer.
Now, in terms of funding, it's an issue. So how do we address the issue of funding?
Can I say this honestly? Funding is never a problem in Nigeria. I must be very honest with you. I shouldn't say this to the popular, but funding is, trust me, a few of us have run a school that catered for 30,000, a few individuals, Nigerians. We didn't get a dime from international donors or anybody. Ordinary Nigerians like you have taken 30,000 back to school. So you can tell me that Nigeria cannot do better. Even some politicians can do better. So funding is not a problem. We will think through it. What we need, I guess, is that we need to think. And when we think, we'll get there.
Enable to forge ahead towards successful implementation of this very critical program. As I stated at the last meeting, and for the benefit of the new attendees, let us remain mindful of the numerous benefits of the alternate school program to our children, their households, their communities, and of course the Nigerian economy at large. Through this program, every child, irrespective of social, cultural, or economic standing, can gain access to quality education using the federal government's social investment programs as delivered through the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management, and Social Development to absorb certain socio-economic shocks that they may be exposed to. Beyond education provision, the program should be seen as a means of improving the future outcomes of children and all the way to the larger Nigerian economy. It will also equip the children with lifelong skills to enable them in the future contribute meaningfully to the Nigerian economy, provide some households' income for their respective families, and create employment for members of the local community, thus improving their local economy. The criticality of this program cannot be overemphasized, and it is on the back of this that I urge us all to continue with the momentum so that we can begin to record much needed successes. However, critical to this success must be effective collaboration, and this should remain the mainstay of our committees that we're going to.
And we're inaugurated today. This demonstrates the blessing of this committee, and we promise you that we will deliver to the letter. On behalf of the committee, we thank you for this assignment, and we will do everything supporting the secretaries, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, and the Permanent Secretary of the Federal Ministry of Education as the co-secretaries of the main committee to ensure that we deliver on time and effectively. Thank you very much.
I am Gbemiga Olamikon reporting for GTV Africa.